This is CBS.
Coming up next on News Center 8, with Cleveland snow clearing crews crippled by layoffs, we'll have an update on the worst storm of winter.
And there was a storm of protest in Cleveland Heights tonight from residents opposed to that proposed ban on handguns.
In sports, John says if the Yankees are already feuding, baseball can't be far off.
Dick says we can expect near blizzard-like conditions by morning.
Maud, weeknights at 11:30 on TV8.
Now, Tim Taylor, Denise DeCenzo, John Telich on sports, and Dick Goddard with weather. This is News Center 8.
Good evening, everyone.
Thanks for joining us. Here's what's happening. Just when you thought it was safe to think about an early spring, the most dangerous storm of winter roared into Ohio. It caught Cleveland at the worst possible time, just before the evening rush hour, with 1/3 of the city's snow removal crews laid off. So far, at least 5 inches on the ground at Hopkins, at least another 5 expected. Many meetings and classes were canceled tonight. We have a long list of school closings for tomorrow. Most communities have their snow emergency parking bans in effect, prompting some folks to park and then travel to the store the old-fashioned way. Dick is here to tell us that unfortunately it's going to get a whole lot worse before it gets better.
We have had officially at Hopkins Airport 5 inches of snow. We've had a similar amount here in the city of Cleveland, also down at the Akron-Canton Airport. I just contacted them recently in the area. We've had as much as 9 to 10 inches. We'll get into that later. But the snow pattern began to develop with what is known as the Oklahoma Panhandle Hook. Developing here Sunday. I think this storm had probably more hype than the Super Bowl, and it did develop pretty much as expected. That track has taken this sort of a path. It is in the state of Kentucky now. The heavy snow originally yesterday out in Missouri and Arkansas and Oklahoma, 15 inches fell there yesterday. The snow now is falling in Indiana heavily. In Ohio, it is moving into the state of Pennsylvania now. They're getting freezing rain down in the southwest part of Ohio. Assuming now we have 5 inches on the ground at Hopkins, I think we're going to do another 5 by sunrise tomorrow morning, but the problem is going to be near blizzard-like conditions in the northeasterly gale. Denise?
Well, the combination of near blizzard-like conditions and lack of manpower is certain to add up to a nightmare of morning rush hour. News Center 8's Bob Sermonera is live at the 40th Street Salt Yard with a bleak report on our snow fighting forces. Bob?
Denise, normally the city would have 150 drivers and more than 70 trucks on the roads to combat snow removal like this, but not for this storm. Last Friday's layoffs cut 41 workers from the streets department. Service Director Joe Stamp says his crews cannot keep up with this storm. They will plow and salt throughout the night, but only the main streets. None of the residential areas will be touched, according to Stamps, until the main roads are passable, and that may take a few days. Stamp says the only good thing about this storm is that they have plenty of equipment, and now when a truck goes down, a replacement is ready immediately. This work shift is being kept on an extra 4 hours, and they hope to keep the streets at least open and passable for the morning rush hour. If you're a city resident, the hard part in the morning will be getting off of your street and onto the main roads. A check with Hopkins Airport shows that some flights have been delayed, but few have been canceled. I guess the best thing, the best advice for morning rush hour drivers will be to leave early and take your time. And beginning at 6 o'clock in the morning, News Center 8 will have updates on the storm reports. This is Bob Sermonera, News Center 8, live with the CityCam.
We have a number of school closings to report tonight. Here is a partial list of some of the bigger closings in many parts of the Midwest today. In Missouri, where up to 15 inches of snow fell, officials declared a state of emergency and mobilized the National Guard to help stranded residents. The city of Indianapolis was another victim today. Heavy snow turned highways into ski slopes. This 12-car pileup was a traffic pattern repeated throughout much of the day.
In spite of the bad weather, the Cleveland Heights City Hall was packed tonight for a meeting.
Tough.
It can't be fun at all the reports we've had lately. By 6 o'clock when Dick Russ came up from Akron, he said, well, things are moving along. I just looked out the window here at TV8 and a few cars have spun out on I-90. Report from Wycliffe, our Willie Bear there, says 7 inches of new snow today. A lot of that has come down within the last few hours. I mentioned before at Akron-Canton and Hopkins, and in the city we've had about 5 inches, yet out at Montville, in Geauga County, and Austinburg and Ashtabula County, they figure they've had 9 to 10 inches of new snow. Now, some of this in the area is falling atop old snow. It's hard to measure. I got a hunch we'll add in many areas another 5 inches overnight, and in many cases over a foot of snow will be on the ground by the time you get up tomorrow morning. The whole story after this. cancellations already, and at the end of the show now, we're going to give you a rundown on that. And youngsters, teachers, and parents, I'm sure you'd like to know if your school is included at this time. There may be more closing, I'm sure, by sunrise tomorrow morning. It is 27 degrees now, and the wind chill is 5. The wind northeast at 15. That wind is going to be even stronger tonight. This low-pressure area that is now in Kentucky is really deepening, and the barometer now 2975, as you see, and it is going even lower. The humidity at 92%. Precipitation, again, this is the new snow on top of the old at Hopkins, 5 inches, so they have a total of 8 out there now. Our pollution standard index is 35, and 20 is the forecast for the day on Tuesday. A look at TV8 National Weather Service color radar at 6 o'clock. If you joined us, we had an area of orange and amber down here, and that was, as it turned out, an area of thundery weather with a number of people in Wadsworth all the way over to Columbiana and Mahoning County calling to say they saw lightning and heard thunder. With that line, when you get into a well-developed winter storm, it is not all that unusual, but the emerald green tells you the extent of the snow, and it is even beyond this. The radar simply is unable to penetrate beyond the areas you see, and if you're planning to travel as we go to the next map rather quickly now, we will see that you're going to have a lot of problems. The low-pressure area that was the developing system in the Panhandle has taken the typical Panhandle hook track, the area of heavy snow that has falling and is falling now. And the latest report we had at Vichy, Missouri, they're still getting snow there. They've had at Vichy 21 inches of snow, at Nokomis, Illinois 12, and we certainly have our weather problems here. In the Detroit area, they reckon they may have a foot of snow on the ground by sunrise tomorrow morning. Freezing rain down at Cincinnati and Dayton, so don't think you're getting into a bargain if you get out of the snow field. Driving to the south. As a matter of fact, as you're going to see now, that area of snow is going to be extending far to the northeast tomorrow. It is 25 Toledo, the coldest in the state. Now Huntington at 44 has a rain shower. They have no idea down there what is going on here. Marietta has 37 and just cloudy skies. It is snowing at Zanesville. We've had a mix of freezing rain with the snow over parts of the area. 27-22 today. 50-20 a year ago. Snowfall at Hopkins now 48.6. Sunrise 7:04. Sundown tomorrow 6:17. A look at the satellite shows the total obliteration of the state of Ohio and the Great Lakes by the cloud areas. And now here's the storm center with the isobars wrapping around. We've got a double header down here. The major low pressure area in Kentucky, a smaller one here, and a tertiary evidently here off the Carolina coast. But here you see the swirl, and we're talking about a nor'easter. Even though the storm is moving from the southwest, this is what the nor'easter is. The airflow counterclockwise around those low-pressure systems. Not much going on in the far west, but boy, they have had a lot of nasty weather down in Florida. At Palatka, they had wind damage today, and other points reporting some wind damage. Orlando, a wind of 60 miles an hour. Here you see the snow field wrapping across Ohio out into the far west. This is the area of rain on either side of the low-pressure systems, and as you see, a bit of snow up there. 83 Miami today, 63 Charleston, 30s and 20s up here. The colder air draining in. Even tomorrow, after the major area of snow leaves us sometime in the afternoon, we'll still have some snow. It'll be very windy, and further accumulation is likely. The forecast. Our winds strong east-northeast, 20 to 40, and even gusts beyond that, I would think, overnight. And well into the day tomorrow, the winds will turn more and more northwesterly through Tuesday. For tonight, it is snow locally and often heavy. Freezing rain could mix in a few spots. Very windy overnight. The low about 30 to 32, which is an improvement on what we've had, actually. For the day Tuesday, windy, snow, and temperatures falling through the 20s. We're headed for a low of 15 tomorrow. After we wind up with a foot or more on the ground in most areas by sunrise, we could again add another 2 to 4 during the day tomorrow. Wednesday, cloudy, a few flurries left over, the high 26. Thursday, clouds and sun 22. Friday, cloudy, a few flurries could develop with a high of 32. By Saturday, it would appear, with a possibility even of rain showers, we could see a high as far up as 40 degrees, and that certainly would be a big improvement. Now, we are going to be with you tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock, News Center 8, to update you on all the school closings. I brought an extra pair of duds along, and Mark Kuntz is going to try to fight his way up from Maslin. We'll give you all the information you'll need to know beginning at 6 tomorrow morning.
What a difference a week makes.
Oh, yes.
Thanks, Dick.